Spaghetti squash is a gorgeous veg that you can use as a light substitute for pasta or as a side dish all on its own. There are 3 different ways to cook it, and each one is easy, easy, easy. So the 3 ways to cook a spaghetti squash are in the oven, in a pressure cooker, or in a microwave. And honestly, the hardest part of doing all of this is just cutting it in half. So get a sharp, big knife and just slice the spaghetti squash in half. Now you're going to see there are some seeds in the center of the spaghetti squash, and you're going to scoop those out with a spoon and really honestly just discard them. Once you finish scraping out the seeds, you're going to do the same thing no matter which appliance you're using. A little bit of olive oil drizzled on that cut surface, and then some salt and pepper. Now you always cook spaghetti squash cut side down. So if you're using the oven, you're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, place the spaghetti squash cut side down on a cookie sheet, and then you put it in the oven for 30 to 45 minutes depending on how big the spaghetti squash is. If you're going to do it in a microwave, you're going to put that spaghetti squash cut side down in a microwavable dish again, and that's only going to take about 8 to 12 minutes in a microwave. If you're doing it in a pressure cooker, you're going to need to put some water in your pressure cooker first, just enough to cover the bottom of the cooker. Then you're going to put a rack in the cooker. Here's a rack. If you don't have a rack like this, you could use some crumpled up aluminum foil, and you're going to put the spaghetti squash cut side down on top of that rack. You're going to set it for 12 to 15 minutes depending on how big that spaghetti squash is. So after 12 or 15 minutes, my pressure cooker has told me that it's finished, and I'm going to let the steam out. You want to do a quick release of the steam here, or a manual release, just by turning that. I'm going to release that steam, cover it a little bit with a tea towel to protect my cabinet, and let all the steam out. Now, I only cooked 1/2 of a spaghetti squash in here, but you can cook as much spaghetti squash as your pressure cooker will handle. Just pile them on top of each other, making sure the cut side is always down. So once it's finished, you need to check to see if the spaghetti squash is cooked. And the way you do that is with a paring knife. You're going to pierce the skin with a knife, and that knife should go right through. There'll be a little resistance with the skin, but no matter which way you cook it, in the microwave, the oven, or the pressure cooker, the knife should pierce through the flesh no problem. Remove the spaghetti squash to a cutting board or work surface and place it cut side up. Now, if you've used a pressure cooker to make your spaghetti squash, you actually have enough time while it's cooling to make a marinara, which only takes about 5 minutes in a pressure cooker. Put on a glove or use a towel to hold the spaghetti squash because it's still warm, even though it's cooled a little bit. And using a fork, just start to flake and scrape the strands of squash, peeling it away from the skin. This is where you're going to see it start to look a little bit like spaghetti. So turn it out right onto a plate like this. You'll see it's already seasoned because we had that salt and pepper at the beginning. You have about enough for 1 to 2 people per half of spaghetti squash. Now it's simple. You can dress it any way you want. Sometimes just putting some breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of butter on there is fine. Or if you want to really have a nice pasta dinner, top it with some marinara, maybe a little bit of cheese and some parsley. Beautiful. And that is a low-carb, vegetarian, beautiful dinner. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of the basics, click over here. If you'd like to see everything I used today, click over here. And if you have any comments or suggestions for more basics, put them in the comments section right below.